Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Tone's Market Analysis for Monday, May 15th. Normally, this is a Sunday night show, but yesterday was Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day, everyone. And so I didn't have the time. I had family things, so now we're doing the show on a Monday. I'm going to try and also do these at 4 p.m. on weekdays right after the markets close to kind of assist the European viewers. I've gotten good reviews from the last two shows because they were only 1 hour long. So I'm going to try and start keeping these to 1 hour instead of an hour and a half. Hopefully I'll go real quick through the markets, and then I can get to all of your Q&A. Once again, unfortunately, the blog still hasn't updated. I will try and get to that. My trading season is coming to an end. This is the last week that I'm trading, and then I'm going to be on a trading break for 2 months, though I will be traveling a lot. I am also off to Hong Kong this Wednesday. I'll be in Hong Kong for about 4 or 5 days. If you are a follower of mine and you're in Hong Kong, shoot me a message, shoot me an email, and maybe I'll have time to meet up, though my schedule is a little tight. But those are my travel plans until Monday. So I'll be back in New York on Monday, just in time for the consensus event. All right, we got 100 viewers already. Awesome. All right, quick shout out. Shout out to Ed McLean, who posted something on Google+. This is the first time I've seen anything on Google+, referencing a lot of my work, referencing some of Krista Rose's work, but the video explaining what a Rube Goldberg machine is and what a perpetual motion machine is absolutely hilarious. This is pretty much our current altcoin and ICO space. I retweeted this, so if you go to my Twitter, you'll find it there. It's not often I retweet something, so it's very rare, and so there it is. So I did manage to retweet that, and I'll get back to my Twitter in a minute. All right, so let's just talk about the markets. Let's talk about the stock market. So unfortunately, this very low risk, high reward trade from last week did not work out, but I would be interested in doing this again, mostly because the way the market looks. So we'll see. If tomorrow is an up day, I would totally consider doing this. Let me just throw the parameters in here. So I don't know, 401, as long as we're above 2,400. There you go. How far we're going to go up? Yeah, maybe 2049, 48. Whoa, way too much. 24, I don't know, 49. We'll stick to round numbers. Let's do 50. And on the downside, well, yeah, I would make this kind of tight. So maybe 90, something like that. But I would tighten that real quick. I kind of want to keep it under. You kind of have leeway, right? Because look, the low, the daily low is the bottom of this channel, right? Which is about 2380, but that's way too wide. So, and even the bottom of this candle is kind of wide, but you want to give it a little bit of room. So it's up to you as a trader. But my view on the stock market is the following. The situation we're currently in is not all that much different from this situation here. So if I go back, you see where I wrote cannot be all-time high, too many exit points. It was too easy to get out at the top. You don't get these kinds of chances. Same thing over here. You don't get like a month worth of chances to get out at the top. That's not how markets work. This could have been the top with a 9 right there. But then once we go back there, I mean, that's it. This cannot possibly be the all-time high, and the market has to go higher. It's just the way markets work. I mean, I'm sure every now and then it's possible for me to be wrong, but statistics and probabilities are so clearly on my side on this one. So I'm actually going to copy this. I'm just gonna take this. Just gonna take this guy. I'm just gonna paste him here. And you can just, you know, copy paste this stuff. Like same thing with the box. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna paste this again. But I'm gonna take the box. Oops. All right, give me the box here. I'm gonna copy it, paste it. Slide this box over. I'll adjust it in a second. And like markets aren't accommodating. Markets are designed to separate the most people from the most amount of money they can separate them from. So you don't get like infinite number of chances to get out of the market. You just don't. So it applies here, and it applies here. Well, not that one, right? That one could have been the high for the season or the high for the year. But this guy, you just don't get this many chances to exit. So I'm going to take this guy. And it's a double top. And you guys know I don't believe in double tops. Spoke about that for a long time now. So we're going higher. The only thing that gives me a bit of caution is the fact that it's May and markets historically don't do very well in May. But looking for a breakout here. And if it breaks out, we're going higher. So there you go. That's kind of my view on things for the stock market. Let's see how it goes. All right, here's the weekly chart. I mean, same thing. This was like one of the extensions. Do I have another Fibonacci extension here? Like we're in uncharted territory here, so I don't even know what how far we're going. There you go. There's my next Fibonacci extension. I have no idea how long it'll take to get there, but that's almost like my next target. Like I don't really like have anything in the middle. Like I don't know where this can end. No clue at all. Very bullish on the stock market for the next few years, but I have no idea where it's actually gonna land at. All right. So let's save this. Let's close this. The daily, I'll save that. Close that. Free up some memory. Here's gold. So I'm bullish the stock market, so that means I'm bearish gold. It bounced back a little earlier than I expected, so we'll see. It can probably bump into the moving averages. I don't have any short trades on gold, but if we go back to this moving average, it will create an opportunity to short gold. At least for me, it will. So, I mean, I guess let me not cheat, right? Let me not stick an arrow on things that have already happened. So. I mean, that's not really gonna change much, right? I was bullish gold right here because it gave me, like, I guess a bullish trade, but I wouldn't trade. To me, this is a dead cat bounce. Just got oversold a little bit. Now it's bouncing. And the overall trend remains bearish. That's a daily chart. Our daily trend is bearish, and our weekly trend is bearish. So to me, gold is now bearish across the board. Yeah, it's a bit of a weekly reversal candle. Let's see if it can materialize into anything. You're stuck in between two Fibonaccis. Resistance is mounting, and your MACD is crossing to the negative side once again. I don't know. I just don't see much prospects here. So not going to throw on a bearish trade yet. Maybe later in the week, but later in the week I'm in Hong Kong, so I'm not sure when the next video is going to be, guys. Try to do a video over the weekend from Hong Kong, but I don't know. I'll have to figure something out. But there definitely will not be one on Wednesday because I'm flying out of here on Wednesday, unless something crazy happens, and maybe I'll do one Wednesday morning. And it's like a 16-hour flight, and then I'm on a different time zone, like across the world. So I have no idea when the next video is going to be. But keep an eye on my Twitter, and I'll keep everyone posted. Almost up to 200 viewers. Nice. Okay, so that's gold. Still bearish, not much going on. Let's save that. Let's see how that goes. Oil, I've already gone bearish oil. Again, I have not made the bearish trade. This looks like a nice bearish trade in the making here, because now we've fallen hard. We've pulled back to the moving average. I know this is a weekly chart. No, I'm not going to throw on a trade. I'm not actually. I'm not really going to do a trade because I'm just busy traveling and I wouldn't be able to babysit it. But otherwise, I would consider taking on like a low risk, high reward oil trade where I would be looking for a fall to 40 and my stop loss would be above 50, because now I'm bearish oil. This did not materialize. It didn't materialize, but if you traded it, it didn't really cost you anything, because you would have gotten, well, if you traded right, you would have gotten out in time. Okay, euro. I'm still bearish the euro. So people kind of, when I was talking about Macron winning and it's back to socialism for France, people seem to think that just because the Socialist Party didn't win, that their middle of the road candidate is not a socialist. He is a socialist. And he doesn't want France to have any power. He's going to hand over all that power to Brussels and their unelected officials. So voting for someone like Macron was basically a vote for more socialism and no independence, because he doesn't have the backbone to stand up to the European Union and create any kind of independence for France. So France is just going to give up more power over to Brussels. And it's not going to save the euro. I mean, instead of, France potentially getting out of this mess, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse until the whole freaking thing is going to implode. But this short trade may not work out. We may go higher, but it's very simple and easy to see where your stop loss is, and your stop loss is basically above these candles. And if it doesn't work, then it'll have a little bit of a bounce, and then just gotta time the crash, because the euro is gonna go down the toilet. All right, here's the euro pound trade. So the double trade was actually working well. Now it's up there. I mean, it didn't hit the stop loss yet. I would hold on to it. I still think the pound has a lot of strength left, and the euro doesn't. And this is one of those trades where if we fall back below the neckline here, the flat line, this is like one of those triple down trades. Like, I really think this looks great. And I guess this is a time to do a shout out for one broker where I actually do these trades. And for one broker, I do have an affiliate code. Be very, very careful. One broker is an unregulated swap exchange. It's not total default swaps. Sorry. It's what do you call them? Total return swaps, where you're basically just betting against the house. And so be careful. It's unregulated. It's unsecured. So only put Bitcoin there you are willing to lose, because it could end in a Cryptsy situation or a future Poloniac situation. And But a few people have signed up with my affiliate code. So thank you very much for signing up with my affiliate code for OneBroker. Maybe I'll do like a little OneBroker tutorial one of these days. I'm going to find some time and get that done. All right, Bitcoin. All right. Oh, also shout out to Richie Rich, who is going to help me out with questions today. So thank you, Richie. No, I do not share my trades on OneBroker, mostly because I'm not here to give trading, like direct trading advice. I make these videos to educate people. And same thing with the tone-based consulting service, where for 0.1 Bitcoin per hour, we can talk about anything related to finance, anything related to trading, anything related to coins, anything related to, if you want to talk to me about charting an altcoin, some people have done that. If you want to talk to me about how I've structured my retirement accounts and I trade in those retirement accounts, these are just some of the things that I do with my trading. I also do tutorials on technical analysis. Basically, we can talk about anything within the realm of my somewhat expertise, along with, some people called me up and asked me, how did I get out of like being a gold bug, and how did I, finally started seeing gold differently. So these are just some of the things that I talk about with people. But no, I don't share my trades because I don't want to be responsible for other people, because then I feel like a responsibility that, oh, now I got to tell them when I got out, and I just don't bother with it. It's the same thing when people randomly text me or connect with me on Twitter and they ask me, oh, what do you think of the price? I can't answer you guys, because if I start answering one person, I'm going to be answering these things all day, every day. So I kind of just do it when I feel like it, not when people ask me what I think about the price. Occasionally I'll answer, but it's rare. All right, so here's the weekly chart of Bitcoin. Again, last week closed fairly bullish. Middle of last week was looking a little, you were getting a little nervous mid last week when it was trading at around 1600, but the weekly candle looks strong. It finished really good. We've been on a crazy run, so a little pullback is not the end of the world. This week has started off a little bit on the weak side, but looking at the weekly chart, I know it's logarithmic. There's not really all that much to worry about from a technical perspective. Here's the Bitfinex chart. And again, I am working on migrating everything over from, I'm sorry, this is the Bitstamp chart. I'm working on migrating stuff from Bitfinex to Bitstamp, but I don't even think it's necessary. I mean, they're almost at parity again, right? I mean, that one is 700, this one is 740. I mean, it's not that much of a difference. I mean, the difference is only like maybe 5, not even 5, yeah, about 5%. It's not really the end of the world. But what I drew on, what I ended up drawing on Bitfinex, I'm going to go ahead and draw it here as well. And this is the part I wanted to talk to you guys about. So normally, I would consider, well, it's obvious that the top of the channel was resistance. However, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to grab the top right there. No, it's a little different here. All right. So these channels, because they're logarithmic, a little bit harder to draw. So what I'm actually going to do is, yeah, see, this channel is a little bit prettier on Bitfinex than it is on Stamp. just cleaner there. I'm going to draw one of these channels here. Okay. And the reason why I'm doing that is because you see how the prior 1, 2, 3 times we hit the top of the channel, we had significant pullbacks. I'm honestly not expecting it this time. And this is where I need to be a little bit careful. I don't want to have tunnel vision. I don't want to be I don't want to be over bullish here, right? Because I'm a Bitcoin holder. I hold Bitcoin. So obviously I don't want it to go down. So I have a little bit of a bias where I'm invested in Bitcoin being up because, makes me feel better, right? We all say that, oh, if only Bitcoin was 700 again, like it was earlier in the year, I would buy all of it. But guess what? Imagine if Bitcoin fell to 700 tomorrow. Trust me, you would be selling into it because you would be scared, like everyone would be scared. I would be scared. If Bitcoin fell to 700 tomorrow, I mean, I can sit here and tell you guys that, oh, if Bitcoin falls back to 1,000, I'm going to, sell my apartment and go buy Bitcoin. That's not exactly true, because if there is a huge panic, I mean, it's not going to just go down to 1,000 for no reason. If Bitcoin falls to 1,000 tomorrow, there's going to be a serious reason behind it. And that reason is going to be very, very scary. It will be scary to a point where you're going to be thinking of selling your Bitcoin at 1,000 and not doubling down. Okay? So we can talk all we want about what we're going to do, but when there's actual money on the line, most people don't necessarily do that. So there is caution here, right? So the RSI has fallen out of overbought territory. The MACD is starting to turn, and it was way out of control. We haven't been this high on the MACD on the daily chart, probably not going back to 2013. So there are reasons to believe that the top of this channel will cause it to go back all the way down. And there's a couple of reasons why I am going to go against the obvious. Well, again, some people think that Bitcoin is going to go to the moon. They think that Bitcoin will go to 5,000 this year. That's possible, but unlikely. Other people thought that Bitcoin should be at 300 by now. Again, possible, was unlikely, and I said I didn't expect it. Right now, one of the obvious things to do is to assume Bitcoin is going to fall down to the bottom of the channel and then go back up, which would be fairly realistic. I mean, look how many times that's happened. But I'm looking at what's happening in the altcoins, and things are just out of control there. Just completely out of control. I finally understand the stupidity of the .com bubble and the .com crash. There were a few useful companies in 98 and 99, but 99% of those companies were nothing. They were a website, and they went public on the stock exchange. They IPO'd, and their stocks were trading at like $40, $50 a share, $100 a share. And there was nothing. There was no product. It was just bullshit. And this is what I see in the ICO space and in the altcoin space. And it's going to implode. I don't know when it's going to implode. Ethereum can go to $1,000. Ripple can go to $5 per Ripple. A Dash can go to $500 a coin. I have no clue. I don't know. I don't know when it's going to pop, but it's going to pop because none of those projects have anything tangible. They have nothing. All they have is a fancy website and a bunch of people on Twitter. That's all they have. And the only reason why they're even tradable is because companies like Poloniex and Bittrex haven't yet exit scammed like Cryptsy did. And I also think that's coming sooner or later. The regulations also haven't come down. Okay. Back in 1998, anybody can IPO. Today, it's a little bit harder. Regulations changed after the .com bubble about the rules on going IPO. So I am expecting Bitcoin to hug the top of this channel in a similar way that it hugged the bottom of the channel right here between September and December. So when we kind of went up slow and steady all throughout, this is kind of what I'm expecting. Now, there are wildcards here. If the big blockers have some kind of, I don't know, if they have some kind of an attack on Bitcoin, people can panic and sell their Bitcoin. If SegWit finds a way into the system, it will create insane FOMO and Bitcoin will shoot out of the channel. But for now, I would be very comfortable if Bitcoin hugged the top of the channel and slowly went up, meeting my target. Because remember what my target was in the beginning of the year. Trying to find that post again. Always struggle to find it. I don't know why. Hold on. Because I have all my pictures in like one folder, and then I keep making more and more screenshots to tweet them out. So my my early year prediction kind of disappears. Yeah, okay, new plan then. Liberty Life Trail, publications. And there it is. How far will Bitcoin go in 2017? So there it is. 2000 by end of summer. In reality, it's August 14th. August 14th was my day of interest from an article I wrote in 2014. And I will probably rewrite that article once I'm back from my travels this summer to kind of point out as to why I think that. So my view was 2000 by mid-August, okay? And then a pullback. So we'll see what happens. So I'm hoping that we just stay in this range, this tighter range, and even though there could be $200-300 swings up in that range. Okay, here's Bitfinex. Looks exactly the same. A few more arrows, a few highlights. All right, here's the short-term chart. The short-term chart is getting very, very busy. This is the one I've been tweeting out. So there's a couple of things we can draw on here now. So yeah, it's getting busy. I don't know if I want to delete all these arrows. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But we can also start to draw a triangle here. And I'm going to draw a green triangle. Because to me, it's has a bit of more of a bullish tendency. I should probably start questions any minute now. Not exact. I'll try and make this a bit more symmetric. Though symmetric might be difficult. Yeah, so maybe I won't take it down that far. So maybe I'll have to do it here. Something like that. Okay, so let's see how that develops. Okay, so if this triangle is to hold, then we should be bouncing right here. And I know it's Bitfinex, but I'm sure they all look the same. Make this straight here. So something like that. Okay, so let's see if this triangle holds, and then we get into this point at around 1775, and then the expectation would be that it would break out to the upside. Okay. So let me save that. Other than that, I mean, I had the Dash chart up only because I tweeted this out earlier today. I don't really care about Dash. I happen to have it open because other people requested and called me up, and we talked about Dash a little bit. And this is my view on Dash. I mean, technically, so I don't care what their fundamentals are. I'm looking at the technicals, and everything has been screaming that it's in a bubble. Wait, where's my where's my picture of it? Oh, here it is. There it is. That's what I tweeted out earlier today, and so that's kind of my view on Dash. Close that. Still want to have opened. I'm even going to close it now. I don't care. So a lot of people have been asking me about GBTC. And this is actually interesting because I was kind of against the idea of GBTC, but now I'm actually trading GBTC. And I'm not going to talk about it too much because I am able to trade it with a few strategies that I now have 300 live viewers. Thank you, guys. And I give out a lot of free information, but this one I'm not because it's a bit of my trading advantage, being able to trade GBTC in my retirement account. So, and I'm willing to share that information because it's not that proprietary, unlike my options trading. But so those that are interested in, I guess, learning what I think about GBTC and how I use these charts right here, I'm not even going to explain them. You'd have to, pause the video, think about what these charts mean, how I put them together, and they help me trade GBTC. And there's definitely arbitrage to be made there. So yeah, I'll be happy if the arbitrage closes. It'll create a more efficient market. So that's the kind of stuff that the tone-based consulting service would offer at 0.1 Bitcoin per hour. If you want to talk about how I am trading GBTC, you're welcome to contact me about that. So I'm actually going to leave these because I look at them throughout the day. Okay, that's about it. The only other thing I wanted to mention was I took a look at Ripple today because Ripple went up in price for some God knows what reason, something out of Japan maybe. And I took a look and I'm like, well, they're using circulating supply, but that's almost bullshit because someone else is just sitting on the rest of the Bitcoin supply. So using circulating supply for Ripple is like using circulating supply for Bitcoin because Satoshi's coins have never been used. Just like the rest of the Ripple tokens have never been used. They're sitting there by the founders. And you really want to use total supply. And if you use total supply, the market cap of Ripple is actually only 3 billion less than Bitcoin. So if Ripple goes up another 3 cents, the market cap of Ripple would be higher than Bitcoin. So this should tell you how stupid and out of control these altcoins have gotten. Also on cryptocurrency market cap, if you open it up as total supply, like here, like see right here, there's currencies, and then if you go by total supply, this is just the supply outstanding, you get to see a very different picture of what some of these altcoins are worth by market cap. And number 3 is Malcoin, and number 4 is Solarcoin. So again, it shows you the stupidity of the altcoins. But hey, if you can trade them and make money, that's great. But if you come to me and say Malcolm Coin is the next greatest thing and it's going to be better than Ripple and it's going to be better than Bitcoin, it can be better than Ripple. Probably already is better than Ripple. But if you're going to tell me that Malcoin is going to be better than Bitcoin, that's when I have a problem, and that's when I have to say something. Okay, and this was the Brave New Coin where they're using total supply. They don't really use circulating supply for anything. All right. On that note, I think I've already talked way too much. I'm going to try and keep these to an hour, so I'm going to have to go through your questions real quick. Rich, thanks for helping me out. And whoa, that's a lot of questions. I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. Okay, so the GBTC question from yesterday, I thought about it, and I decided not to publicly answer the GBTC stuff. That I'll save that for the consulting service. Those that are really curious about my thoughts on GBTC, that's the 0.1 Bitcoin per hour service, and we can talk about that. Why do you ignore order book? Do you think they're irrelevant? Yes, I do think the order book is irrelevant, because the order book is basically people telling you what they're going to do, but you don't know if they're actually going to do it. I've talked about this with someone. It was actually during a live consulting session when the person was trading, and that person was, I'm trying to remember, I think we were talking about Dash, and that person was saying how, oh, there's this giant buy wall. There's this giant, it was during the time when Dash was falling. He's like, oh, there's this giant buy wall right below the price. And I said, well, either that person is a complete idiot showing you the buy wall, or that person is actually smart and he's tricking you to think that there is all of this demand for Dash. And the moment the price gets very close to his buy wall, he's going to pull the buy wall off the table. And that's exactly what happened while we were on the phone. The buy wall all of a sudden disappeared. It was like a giant buy wall. And this is why I consider the order book completely irrelevant. There's a couple of people that set a limit order, buy and sell, and they don't really care. They just want to get out, or they just want to get in. But those aren't going to be giant positions. Anyone with a giant position that puts a buy wall up or a sell wall, that means they don't know what they're doing. And I don't trust them, because I don't know if that person is totally clueless, then I don't trust the market. But if that person knows what they're doing, they're going to pull that buy wall because they just tricked you thinking that there was all this buying or all this selling, right? So it's that's why I ignore it. All right. Those were questions from last time. Let's go to new questions. Can you talk about the recurring fractal pattern? Moon and 3 dead cats, and Bitcoin that Bitcoin constantly makes. Oh man, I have a feeling that Justin is asking this question. I mean, it's a standard pattern. It's no different than, I mean, Bitcoin isn't the only one that makes it. Like if I go to, I mean, I don't look at it often, but where is my gold, silver Bitcoin chart? There it is. It's just a standard pattern, the way bubbles pop. I mean, we were all familiar with, where's that Dash picture? To open it back up. We're all familiar with this bubble picture, but in reality, nothing is ever straight. In reality, whoa. Oh, wow, this chart is certainly altered. This is what it used to look like before Bitcoin went on a roll. In reality, this is how bubbles pop. And the backdrop here is silver, and the blue is Bitcoin. And you can see they fell in exactly the same way. Bitcoin was just doing it a little bit faster. Let me, zoom this out a little, right? So it's the same thing. So this is like the moon, and then you have these 1, 2, 3, like multiple dead cat bounces until it finally bottoms. So this was a picture I was putting together when I was, it's already way out of line. I'm not even sure what that corresponded to. Oh, because I can move this around. That's why. It looked something like this. So these green things match up, and then this guy matches up, and then this guy matches up. But then Bitcoin took off to the upside, and silver is still, dragging its ass down here. Okay, and again, I have to adjust. But anyway, but you get the idea, right? So it's not just Bitcoin. I mean, it's all assets. It's just the way bubbles pop. It almost always like that. Next, how does this business cycle compare to others in your view? Do you think we are due a recession? No, I don't see. I don't see us. I don't see U.S. in a recession. See, this is the difference. Like, I see Europe in trouble. I see emerging markets in trouble. I see Japan in some trouble. I see the commodity countries, Canada, Australia, Brazil. I see those countries, a lot of those countries in a lot of trouble, but not the US, because with Trump in office, it should be a business-friendly environment. While commodities are not doing too well, the dollar is rising, making commodities look even worse. The taxes in those other countries, Australia, Canada, Europe, they're out of control, and it's only getting worse. I know they're bad in the US also, but they're not as bad as in those countries. And people are going to flee. The capital from those countries is going to flee. This is where I recommend reading Martin Armstrong's blog, where he talks about this all the time. And I think he does great work in talking about capital flows and how money moves and how people panic. And I see it the same way. So I don't see a recession in the US, but I see a lot of crap happening overseas. And then if too much capital comes to the US, then US can get a little bubbly, and then we got a problem. But for now, no. And the crypto space right now, I want to say it reminds me of the dot-com bubble, but during the dot-com bubble, I was still in college. So I wasn't trading the market. I was watching the market, but I didn't have any money. But this is what it must have felt like trading, IPOs during the late 1990s. This is it. It's the same mistakes being repeated. There's nothing different. The only thing different is the fact that it's ICOs and not .com IPOs. Other than that, it's the same. All right, next question. What happens if the euro goes to zero? Will the countries just reinvent national currencies? Yeah, and give them, I guess, arbitrary exchange rates. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, some of those countries may group together. Like, for example, the Scandinavian countries might get together with Germany, and they might form like a northern euro currency, maybe, but that's not really going to help Germany. So or most likely they'll all go to their own currencies. You have to realize that France would love to go. Well, France is kind of, I don't think they know what they're doing at all. Le Pen kind of knew what to do, but no one else there does. Like, Greece would love to go to their own currencies. They can devalue. Spain would love to go to their own currency. They can devalue. The people would love to go. The politicians don't want to do it. The politicians have cushy jobs with the European Union being paid in an overvalued euro. If you're in Germany, you don't want to go back to the Deutschmark, because the Deutschmark would be valued way more than the euro is valued today. The Deutschmark, my guess, would be at least 1.5 US dollars to one Deutschmark, because Germany kind of knows what they're doing, even though I think that the dollar is still in a better position. But it doesn't matter what I think, it's what the world thinks. And but France's currency is going to be cheap, Italian currency is going to be cheap, Greek currency is going to be cheap, and they would immediately, like, their national debts would become completely smaller. So yeah, those countries would go to their own currencies. It was mostly politicians that wanted the the euro, the people right now are hurting by having the euro because everything is overpriced in those southern countries of Europe. But then Europe becomes, a little more difficult because those countries are small. They're smaller than U.S. states, some of them, and now you got to exchange currencies everywhere you go. But guess what? We have Bitcoin now. A euro breakup will be amazing for Bitcoin. If the euro is on a brink of collapse, I would then upgrade my target on Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin will just hit mass adoption. But if we don't have SegWit and Lightning Network ready when the euro collapses, Bitcoin is in trouble because it doesn't scale at the moment. So it's a problem. Other currencies have bigger problems, by the way. This isn't like my suggestion that there are better alternatives. All right, next. How much Bitcoin do I need for a new computer? It's not... honestly, I'm willing to buy a new computer. I'm just waiting for the computer to be actually released. I don't want to buy a computer with a keyboard. I like my Surface. I like the fact that it's a tablet and a computer. And once it comes out, I got to see if it has the power that I need, and then I'll buy it. I mean, I would have bought it like 5 months ago if it hadn't been released, but that's not the issue. But yeah, if someone wants to donate me a nice computer, sure, talk to me. Bitcoin more likely to go to 2,300 USD or down to daily 20 or 50 EMA. I don't know where the daily 20 or 50 EMA is, but let me see here. So here is the daily 50, simple. I'd say Bitcoin is more, I'm going to go on a limb, and I would say Bitcoin is, it can go to 1,300. I would say 51% chance, more likely to go to 2,300 than 1,300. But if we're talking 2,500 or 1,000, I'm going to go with 2,500 over 1,000, more likely. SJWs. For those that don't know, SJWs are social justice warriors. Claim that Bitcoin is racist. Yeah, of course they are. They claim everything is racist. That's their motto. Since the early adopters were mainly white male. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you believe it's a racist currency? No, of course not. Look, anybody could have taken the risk at buying Bitcoin early. The reason why they think it's racist is because white males, I guess, are taking on the most risk. I don't know. Anyone could have taken on the risk. No one was stopping you. Look, they're all socialists. Anyone that made money and they didn't make money, they want that half of the money. So it's stupid concept. Will I adjust my consulting price? I don't know, maybe. I'm okay with 0.1 Bitcoin right now. People are still, calling me up. The transaction fees are kind of high. Like it's, and by the way, you send them to me with the lowest possible transaction fee. I don't need to respend it right away. I can wait a week. I don't care. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to 0.1 Bitcoin for now. But if Bitcoin crosses 2,000, I'll consider lowering it. But we'll see. A lot of it depends on my free time and the subject at hand. Also, if you're gonna hit me up for like multiple hours and we're gonna talk about and you wanna learn basic technical analysis, yeah, if you're gonna buy multiple hours, we can negotiate a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but we'll see. Does the current low volume in Bitcoin worry you? No. It doesn't actually, because a lot of the volume is on local Bitcoins. Go check out local Bitcoins and then come back to me and let me know if Bitcoin is at low volume. I don't trust any of these exchanges. I would never use any of them. What do you think about Rootstock? I don't think all that much about Rootstock. I'm trying to get back to CryptoScam, and I'll need to cover it there sooner or later. It's significantly better than Ethereum. Like, I'm gonna have 3 episodes about Ethereum in my CryptoScam podcast. The middle episode is going to be the usefulness of smart contracts and Turing completeness. And that criticism is also going to apply to Rootstock. Now, of course, I salute Rootstock for not creating its own currency to use its own platform, which was, in my opinion, not only breaking laws, but also stupid. So Rootstock doesn't have that problem. So they get a little more respect, but I am still skeptical on the business case for the need for Rootstock. And it's the same skepticism I have for the need for Ethereum, even if they did Ethereum on Bitcoin. There's still questions, there's still skepticism that could go in there. So I like Rootstock a lot more than Ethereum, but I'm still not. I'm not sure it's needed. I'm not sure it's useful, and I'm not sure it's efficient. It's that I don't know if it'll bring any efficiency to the market. Yeah, the Nasdaq 100 has performed much better than the S&P 500. Why you don't invest in it and prefer the S&P 500? It's a little more. That's a good question. Probably I should have invested in the Nasdaq in the Nasdaq 100 over the S&P 500, but I don't know. I just less risk, less reward, I guess, because when you can like Google this also. I'm still on screen share, I guess. Oh, don't forget about, speaking of the CryptoScam podcast, there it is. Nasdaq versus S&P, right? And I don't know how current the charts are going to be. If I go to images and then I go to tools, and I can always like pull it up myself, but oh shoot, more tools. No. So if I go to all and then I go to tools, come on, and then I go, let's say in a I'm going to say past month. Hopefully somebody made a chart. Oh. Guess we got to go. Man, it's really taking up way too much time. And this is what happens when you try to Google something like randomly, and I'm usually very good at Googling. All right, we're going back to all, and we're going back to images. I mean, yeah, here's the Nasdaq versus. Oh, you can't even see that; it's too small. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it goes up more, but I mean, if the market hits a problem, the Nasdaq would fall more. But yeah, no, the Nasdaq has performed amazingly, and when it corrects, it also corrects. But then again, if you go to the .com days, right? If you go to the .com bubble, right? Like here's the Nasdaq.com bubble. We've now way beyond this, right? So, I mean, we're way higher, but I mean, look at the .com bubble. Like the .com bubble had a huge correction. and then the S&P and the Dow outperformed the tech sector, and now the tech sector is back. So yeah, it's higher risk, higher return for the tech sector. All right, next question. Do I suspect Poloniex is going to exit scam? Yeah, I have to. I have to by default. I mean, nothing against the creators of Poloniex, but when you're sitting on a chunk of unregistered value, if the government comes knocking, they're going to take that money and run. I mean, that is just the way it is. Lucas Jr. has said we will know by August 1st if there is a chain split, because that's when user-activated soft fork BIP 148 starts. I've been too busy to really think about that and look into that, though I should. I don't know what to say to that yet. This is why I think a user-activated soft fork is a little bit dangerous. Oh, I didn't even get to talk about WannaCry, the ransomware. It's definitely so the ransomware is definitely raising awareness for Bitcoin. And somebody sent an article to me saying that not a lot of people have paid the ransom because Bitcoin is too complicated to use. And I just laughed at that, because if Bitcoin is too complicated to use, imagine any of these altcoins thinking that they're going to surpass Bitcoin with the network effect. So I found that to be pretty funny. I think, look, this, I talked about, we talked about this on the Bitcoin group. So go ahead and check out that episode on the World Crypto Network where we discussed it. And basically, this will create awareness for Bitcoin. It also kind of locks up Bitcoin, because these crypto locker people, their address is going to be watched very, very carefully, not only by the authorities, but also by other people in the crypto space. So the majority of all the Bitcoin that has ever entered crypto locker addresses just sits there. So these things are, in a way, putting Bitcoin out of circulation, kind of like what Ripple's been doing. That's what I was making fun of its market cap, right? And look, as much as I hate what happens with all of these, crypto locker stuff, it is helping, spread awareness for Bitcoin. So it's not all bad for us anyway. It'll also teach a lot of these companies like Microsoft that they need to take security seriously. You need to do encryption. Like, if the NSA can get into your files and then they get hacked and all of those secrets are leaked, this is what happens. We need better security for all of our internet needs. And Bitcoin is helping the world secure the internet. Otherwise, you get crypto locked or, other ransomware. Ransomware is also not new. I've been posting this picture. I mean, other people have been posting it. The picture is from Mikko Hyppänen's presentation, which is excellent, by the way. Google Mikko Hyppänen of F-Secure. His presentations are just great. And it's all about internet security. Trying to find that picture. Crypto locker has been around forever. Here it is from 1989. You have to send cash and a money order over to Panama, and they unlock your computer. And no one wanted to make cash illegal when this was happening, but now there'll be, a huge push to, have a war on Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is going to suffer a lot less than these altcoins, because these altcoins are mostly centralized. Almost every altcoin is centralized. You go after the Dash Foundation, there goes Dash. You go after Evan, there goes Dash. You go after Vitalik and the Ethereum Foundation, there goes Ethereum. You go after, the Ripple founders, there goes Ripple. all of them. Monero might be somewhat safe, maybe, but Litecoin, I guess, is somewhat safe. But I wouldn't be surprised if Charlie Lee got a knock on his door, because he's a public person. Look, you can't hype up your own altcoin and then think that the government's going to be okay with it. No one, to this day, no one understands why Satoshi remains anonymous. He remains anonymous because he doesn't want to go to prison. But none of these altcoiners understand that. So they're pumping their own altcoin because they know if they create an anonymous altcoin, no one is going to trust it. Like, this is an economic advantage that no one comprehends, unless they comprehend it and they're just bullshitting just to prop up their altcoin to make money. You can't be Vitalik and prop up Ethereum and not face the consequences, because Satoshi wasn't able to publicly prop up Bitcoin because he would have made himself known, okay? But the Ethereum co-founders are able to use their reputation to pump Ethereum, and that is going to hurt them because the life isn't accommodating like that, especially in a legal framework. All right, next. I'm not trying to do anything with Ripple. Okay, I think I skipped a bunch of questions. Shit. Alts should not be called alts unless they are trying to do what Bitcoin is doing. It's just using similar technology. I don't even know what to call them anymore. That's why I call them shitcoins. What do you think of the SEC decision on the Bitcoin ETF? Are you worried? No, I'm not. The SEC's decision to not allow a Bitcoin ETF is pretty set in stone, which is kind of weird because GBTC is a Bitcoin ETF, which I already mentioned earlier. I'm not going to talk about GBTC publicly because I'm now trading GBTC. And if you are curious about my thoughts and potential strategies and GBTC that I'm utilizing to trade with, I'm selling myself out for 0.1 Bitcoin per hour, and we can talk about that. And but they're not going to officially allow a Bitcoin ETF. And if by some miracle they do, then the Bitcoin price will pump somewhat heavily. All right, next question. When can we expect the Poloniex exit scam? I have no idea. I honestly don't. I'll never keep my money there. What odds am I putting on Poloniex exit scamming? I don't know, 75%, 80%. What will precipitate the scam? Well, the moment they get a government subpoena, they're going to be like Paul Verne of Cryptsy, take the money and disappear. I mean, that's just what you do. Am I trying to turn Ripple into a banking conspiracy against Bitcoin? No, I'm just pointing out the fact how stupid Ripple is, because if Ripple goes up in price 5 more cents, its market cap, if Ripple goes up in price 5 more cents, its market cap is going to be greater than that of Bitcoin. So it should show you how dumb this idea is. And the Ripple token really is a Rube Goldberg machine because it's completely unnecessary. And it does nothing, really. Is there a reward for holding Bitcoin through the altcoin bubble or only hurt? I don't know. It really depends on where Bitcoin is at the time. If Bitcoin slows down the price appreciation, if Bitcoin actually stays inside this green channel and like starts to go up slowly so that all of these momentum indicators can come back down and reset, then the altcoin bubble should fuel Bitcoin price. But if Bitcoin pumps, and then the whole crypto space can actually crash, and then Bitcoin would also suffer. At the moment, I'm of the belief that the altcoin bubble would fuel the rise in Bitcoin. But we need SegWit. We need SegWit in there because, look, it's getting harder to use Bitcoin because the transaction fees are going up, the time to confirm a block is going up, and newbies are coming into Bitcoin. So we need SegWit. We need to solve these problems. And I don't want two Bitcoins, so Bitcoin Unlimited, or they're rebranding to, what is it, Emerging Consensus or whatever it is. I mean, it should tell you something. I mean, if you're rebranding, I mean, look who rebranded. Dash rebranded, Omni rebranded, who else rebranded? I don't even know. Like it's a sign of a scam when you're like rebranding in order to, you know, remove the idea of what you were before. Is there a reward for holding Oh yeah, I already did that. Could it be fair to say that your view on gold and S&P? What's S&P? Oh, Snap? No, that's SNAP. Anyway, I don't know. That your view on gold apply for short to medium term trade, where so-called gold bugs are more correct on the long term, perhaps spanning a decade or more. No, absolutely not. Here, gold. Gold historical. Since for the last 100 years, gold has been one of the worst long-term investments. It's a good, you know, if you want to hold on to your wealth, sure, but as an investment, I wish this chart went back to the Great Depression, but unfortunately it doesn't. This chart only goes back to 1976, and here in 1976, 1 ounce of gold was $100, and the S&P 500 was also $100. And today, this is where you would be in the S&P 500, and this is where you would be in gold. And by the way, I put this chart together a while ago, and my outlook for gold is not pretty at all. And the only time gold was a better investment than the S&P 500 was right here between 1997 and 2003. If you bought your gold during this 5-year window, you had a better investment than the S&P 500. And maybe by the end of the year, that's not even going to be true. Okay, and this is not even counting dividend reinvestment. If you reinvest the dividend, then the S&P 500 is like at 7,000, right? Like it's a good store of wealth, but it's not an investment. It doesn't make any money. So, and the longer you hold gold versus investing that money in, the most diversified thing you can do is invest it in the stock market. You've historically done worse and worse and worse. And the further back you go, the worse you have done. So let's just say if take Donald Trump in the 80s, if Donald Trump had taken all of his money and put it into gold, he would have barely made any money. He would not be a billionaire today. If you took that like 100 million or whatever he had, put it in gold, he would not be a billionaire. But if he put it in the stock market, he would have had like 4 times more money than he does today. And he could have done nothing, right? So that's the difference between putting it in the market and putting it into gold. Okay. All right. So the longer you look at gold as a long-term investment, the worse of an investment it is. But if you're prepping for the end of the world, then it has to be a perfect end of the world, right? Because I've talked about this in other videos. If it's a really bad catastrophic event, then no one cares about gold. It has to be bad, but not too bad. But if it's catastrophic to the point of no electricity, then we all die because of all the nuclear power plants around the world would melt down. So, and then your gold is once again useless. All right. Oh God, I still have so many questions. If Bitcoin forks, I don't think it's going to fork. How do you view prospects for each side? Terrible. I think that I think the entire crypto space and the entire movement of a decentralized cryptocurrency, I think the whole movement dies if Bitcoin forks. I think it's over. Like I would not. I would basically be out. I wouldn't even be in the space. I would just trade the stock market and that's it. I would be out. The technicals on Dash just showed that it is a bubble. That's what they're telling me. I mean, anything can happen. A bubble can always go bigger. How will the altcoin bubble popping affect Bitcoin price? I think I talked about that already. Do you think current trends in crypto market, Bitcoin, altcoin included, are not following fundamentals because the dumb money are now flooding in? I don't know what the fundamentals are in altcoins. I barely know what I know what the fundamentals are in Bitcoin. I don't know what the fundamentals are in altcoins. For the fundamentals in Bitcoin, all you got to do is go to my website, type in use cases, and use cases. And I wish I had time to write more articles. The few that I write, even the ones that I've written 4 or 5 years ago, maybe not 5, but 4, are still relevant today. So here you go. So you want to read about the fundamentals of Bitcoin. There you go. Go and read them. The top use cases for Bitcoin. And the Crypto Locker is kind of one of them, but it's not on my list. It has an honorary mention down here somewhere. There it is, Crypto Locker. All right, last 2 questions. Why can't 10 times more people getting into crypto push this fractal to 10,000? They could, but I don't think any transactions would go through because our miners aren't even mining full blocks, and we need SegWit. So you don't want that. You don't want 10,000 of Bitcoin tomorrow. The whole economy can grind to a halt, and then people will just go back to using the US dollar. Is there more Bitcoin being traded through local Bitcoins than on the exchanges? I think so, but I haven't had time to dig into the numbers. So if someone does, please tweet it out and tag me. All right, on that note, I want to thank my 350 live viewers. Once again, thank you for your donations. I got a tiny few last week. Also, thank you to anyone that used my affiliate code for OneBroker. This is where I make some of my trades in the currency space, the euro, the gold trades. I do them on OneBroker. I do not share my trades. This is an educational channel. This is not, follow the leader channel. I do talk about my trades occasionally, but not often. But the majority of my trading is done in the option space, and I never talk about that. A lot of it is proprietary. I will be in Hong Kong next week, but please reach out. I'm always available for consulting at 0.1 Bitcoin per hour, where we can talk finance, trading, learning technical analysis, my gold bug days, my views on the economy, or any other expertise you feel that I'm helpful with. I'm sure I'm going to get some questions about GBTC and how I traded. I am willing to talk about that. If you find that interesting, feel free. I'm not going to, show my trades, but I will share a few strategies that I've noticed in GBTC. Okay. On that note, I did not stick to my guns of keeping this under an hour. We've got 1 hour and 15 minutes. I don't know when the next video will be. I will try to get one out next weekend unless something major happens in the world of crypto or the financial markets. I'm off to Hong Kong on Wednesday, and see you all on the next episode of Tone's Market Analysis. Hey, Bitcoin just popped. Nice. The bottom of the triangle and one back up. Beautiful. Let's see if we hold. If we get back above this line, or bounce around this triangle and start breaking above this line right here, we'll be good. By the way, what I didn't draw, and I can't even finish my own damn video. Man, here's what I didn't draw, and I might be drawing this prematurely. The difference between this yellow line and this yellow line is how much? 1670 to 1900. That looks about 230. So that will probably be the next target of 230. But we'll save that for next week. Bye-bye, guys.